Have you ever had a moment where everything finally clicked? The goal was clear. Motivation was at an all-time high. You knew exactly what you needed to do, and yet you didn't do it. It wasn't laziness. You know what laziness feels like. This was different. It was a kind of invisible paralysis, as if one part of you wanted to charge forward while another part, quieter and more primal, simply refused to move. You blamed a lack of discipline. You blamed your environment. You blamed bad timing. But what if the problem wasn't any of those things? What if the obstacle wasn't outside of you, but built directly into the very mechanism that's supposed to help you succeed? Here's the truth. Nobody tells you about goals. Your brain wasn't designed to achieve them. It was designed to keep you alive. And those two objectives are often at war with each other. The wrong diagnosis. The standard diagnosis for someone who can't hit their targets is always the same: lack of focus, lack of a system, or lack of commitment. It's the wrong diagnosis. It's not that focus and systems don't matter. They do. But they treat the symptom while ignoring the cause. And the cause is deeper and stranger than any productivity spreadsheet will ever show you. Your brain has one primary job. It's not to make you happy. It's not to make you successful. It's to maintain balance, what neuroscientists call homeostasis. It wants things to stay exactly as they are because the known is safe, and what is safe doesn't kill you. Every real goal you set is, from your brain's perspective, a threat. It requires you to become someone different from who you are today. And becoming different triggers the same neurological alarms as physical danger. This isn't a character flaw. It's biology with a 1,000-year evolutionary lag. The problem is that most people interpret this internal sabotage as proof that they don't deserve the win, that they aren't good enough, that they are broken. They aren't. They just don't understand the machinery they're operating. By the end of this video, you'll understand the exact mechanism your brain uses to dismantle your plans, and more importantly, the two entry points where you can actually take back control. The internal mirror, your self-image. In 1955, an American surgeon named Maxwell Maltz noticed something disturbing in his patients. Maltz was a plastic surgeon. He operated on faces, correcting noses, removing scars, reconstructing features. Logically, his patients should have walked out with transformed self-esteem. Many did, but a significant number did not. There were patients who, even after an objective physical transformation, still saw themselves exactly as they were before. It was as if their internal mirror hadn't been updated. A man with a prominent scar removed still felt and acted like a man with a scar. Maltz became obsessed with this. What he discovered changed our understanding of human behavior forever. He called it the self-image, the internal blueprint the brain maintains of who you are. And this blueprint isn't passive. It is active, defensive, and incredibly resistant to change. Your brain doesn't work to achieve your goals. It works to confirm your self-image. If your self-image says, "I'm the kind of person who starts things but never finishes," your brain will, with surgical precision, find ways to make sure that remains true, not to hurt you, but to maintain consistency. The brain hates internal contradiction even more than it hates failure. This is why willpower alone fails. You can force a new behavior for days or weeks, but if the underlying self-image hasn't shifted, the system will eventually correct itself. It's like a thermostat. You can force the temperature up, but the moment you let go, it drops back to the level it was programmed to maintain. Maltz spent years developing a framework to reprogram this internal thermostat. Not through empty positive thinking, but through something more precise and aligned with modern neuroscience. But before we get to the solution, you need to recognize the two ways the saboteur operates. They are opposites, and you're likely trapped in one of them right now. The two systems of sabotage. The brain doesn't have just one way to stop you. It has two. One, the avoidance system. This is the one you recognize. It's procrastination, distraction, and the I'll start Monday loop. It's the sudden urge to check your phone the second you sit down to focus. It's the unexplained fatigue that hits right when the important work begins. This is the escape mechanism. When a goal requires you to expand beyond your identity zone, your brain creates friction. It makes the path feel heavy, uncomfortable, and exhausting. Here's the catch. Avoidance isn't random. It is perfectly proportional to how much the goal threatens your current identity. The more meaningful the goal, the more it asks you to change, the higher the resistance. Your biggest goals produce your biggest procrastinations. That's the system working exactly as it was designed. 2. The upper limit problem. Premature sabotage. The second system is more dangerous because it looks like progress. You're moving forward. Things are finally working. And then, for no apparent reason, you blow it all up. You miss a deadline. You pick an unnecessary fight. You make a reckless decision that sets you back months. Psychologists sometimes call this fear of success. But that's a polite way of saying your identity system is correcting an anomaly. You moved past what your self-image defines as your rightful place. Your brain flagged this as an imbalance and acted to restore your old normal. As psychologist Nathaniel Branden famously said, you cannot consistently act in a way that is inconsistent with how you see yourself. That isn't a motivational quote. It's a neurological boundary. The root of both systems is the same. You are using your identity as a ceiling, not a foundation. The two traps of change. When people realize the problem is their identity, they usually fall into one of two traps. Trap 1. The fake it fallacy. This is the person who tries to rewrite their self-image through brute force affirmations. They say, I am a millionaire, or I am fearless, while their bank account and their pulse say otherwise. The brain is an elite bullshit detector. If your claims have zero evidence, your system discards them as noise, often leaving you feeling more discouraged than before. Trap 2. The analysis paralysis. The intellectual trap. You dive into the books, the podcasts, and the therapy. You understand the why perfectly. But understanding is not transformation. The brain gets a cheap dopamine hit from learning, which you mistake for real progress. You feel like you've changed because your mental model shifted, but your day-to-day identity remains exactly the same. The way out. Building the evidence trail. The path out of these traps is narrow, accumulated evidence. The brain doesn't change because you told it to. It changes because you provided a trail of small, undeniable actions that contradict the old self-image. Not giant leaps. Small actions that are under the radar of your defense system, but large enough to leave a mark. Each tiny win is a vote for the person you are becoming. This isn't about motivation. It's about applied neuroplasticity. There is no hack for this. The process is slow and often invisible. You will act differently for weeks without feeling any different. Most people quit right here because they lack the tolerance for a lack of immediate feedback. But remember, the brain that is evaluating the change is the same brain trying to prevent it. It will use every trick to convince you that this isn't working. That voice isn't the truth. It's just the thermostat trying to stay at 68 degrees. Conclusion. Success isn't about talent. It's about staying in the discomfort long enough for the new version of you to become the default version. Why did you know what to do but failed to do it? Because your brain was doing its job. It was keeping you safe within the boundaries of who you used to be. The goal isn't the problem. The unupdated identity is the problem. You don't cross that frontier with more planning or more willpower. You cross it with small, repeated, intentional acts that prove to your brain who you are now. Don't ask your brain to believe it. Show it. Now let's be honest in the comments. Which trap do you fall into more often? Forced reprogramming or infinite analysis? Just one word is enough. In the next video, we're going to talk about how your environment and the people around you are secretly anchoring you to an old version of yourself. I'll see you there.